going to look at the results primarily out of this section out of corn and soybeans and what we saw in the Delta and all those different soil types. And then we'll talk about means to improve irrigation application timing. And what you're going to hear consistently out of us, the row crop team at Mississippi State, is that you've asked us to make you better irrigators, and we're telling you we don't think we can do it unless you have a soil moisture sensor out there. I mean, there's other techniques, but there's lots of reasons why we think this is the best one, and we'll talk about that when we get to the section. And then we'll talk about means to improve irrigation application efficiency. We'll talk about some kind of computerized hose selection program, whether it's FAUCET, which is free, or Pipe Planner, which is a product of Delta Plastics. We'll talk about the advantages of those, disadvantages. And then the only other tool we really got to improve the delivery of water in a furrow bin is using surge technology. And I'll show you why it's supposed to work, how it works, and we can talk about it and ask questions on it, and we can show you some results out of the field where immediately next season, given some certain criteria, that you probably put a lot of bushels on if you'll use a surge valve. And so it makes a lot of sense in some situations to go to a surge valve immediately because you probably pay for it that year alone in yield potential. All right, so this is how we'll start working through it. We're just going to call them case studies. I'm going to throw up a series of slides like this. I'm going to tell you what the general soil type was. I'll tell you what the producer was doing and what we came in and did differently to it. And then we'll show you what his yield was, what his water use was, and what his economic return was. And then we'll show you what ours was using the tools that we put in place. So this would be a mixed soil type. The producer already had everything set up using the FAUCET program. The only thing that we're going to do differently in this situation is put soil moisture sensors in. Our general packages, we put them in at 6, 12, 24, and 36 inches. Either me or somebody in the group, in our research group, comes by and checks them twice a week. That's it. All right, so the producer puts out 4 irrigations. He cuts 239 with a 924 return. We put out 2 shots, cut 236 with a 923 return. So on this farm, we're 3 bushels an acre behind him, but on the profitability margin, we're only $1 behind him. We did it with half the water. Now, that's a pretty big deal when you got these guys up here telling you we're running out of water. We're saying, look, we're pretty close to maintaining your yield potential using half the water with a sensor alone, pretty much in this case. So again, this is going to be a mixed soil type. Producer's already set up everything on FAUCET. The only thing that we're going to do differently is come in and put soil moisture sensors in at 6, 12, 24, and 36. Remember, the only thing I'm doing differently is I got a soil moisture sensor in the field. Producer calls for 3 shots. He cuts 238 with an 886 return. We call for 2 shots, cut 237 and an 888 return. So in this case, I'm a bushel behind him, but on the profitability side, I'm $2 ahead of him. I've done it with 1/3 of the water. In this case, the producer is just willing to give us 5-acre strips. Okay, so it's pretty much would look like a strip test to you. Again, it's a mixed soil type. Producer has everything set up on FAUCET. I've got sensors in at 6, 12, 24, and 36, and he's going to irrigate what I refer to affectionately as nilly-willy, right? He just gets the urge, and I don't really know what it is, and he's going to pull the trigger. So he puts out 4 shots, cuts 233. On the other side of us, he puts 4 shots out, cuts 248. With an 840 return. We put out 2 shots, cut 256 with an 881 return. So on this farm, we're 16 bushels an acre ahead. We're $70 an acre ahead, and again, we've done it with half the water. All right, so this is more of a Dundee silt loam on the top, and it's falling down to something like a mixed soil type on top. This is a great field because, when we came in, pretty much not a whole lot of guys are using FAUCET right now. Nobody's using surge valves, and for all practical purposes, with the exception of some John Deere sensors out there, nobody's using any kind of scientific scheduling tool. We're pretty much going 7 or 10 days. All right, so we every time we went in, we asked the producers, look, just pretty much do what you did last year, because we could be completely wrong about what we're trying to do on your farm, and we need to know that. So do what you've been doing. So he said he would. So we're going to take half this, which I think we get 60 acres. Again, it's more of a Dundee silt loam. He's used to skip row irrigating it. We're not going to send water down every row of the furrow in the silt loam. These cotton soils, because a lot of times they can seal up. So we're going to send it down every furrow. He continues to skip row irrigate it. He goes ahead and sets his side up on FAUCET. We set ours up on FAUCET as well. And he puts a surge valve on top of this. All right, so what he has just done is gone in and optimized the delivery of water using FAUCET to get all the water to come out on those furrows at the same time, and got a surge valve that's going to help him eliminate tailwater runoff and deep percolation loss. You can't deliver water more efficiently than what he's about to do in using a furrow system. But he's still going to irrigate nilly-willy. All right? Well, we've done the exact same thing he's done, except we're going to send water down to every furrow. We got a surge valve on it. We got it set up for FAUCET. So in this case, producer puts 6 shots out. He puts out 18.4 inches. So if anybody was actually looking, he would be in violation of that. He cuts 217. We put out 3 shots, 8.1 inches, cut 222. So in this case, we're 5 bushels an acre head. We're 50 bucks an acre head. We've done it with 55% less water than what he did it with, and we're no longer in violation of his permitted value. So what I want to drive home on this slide is a lot of things. Number one, I think we do have tools to help keep you below this permitted value if we get serious about it, number one. Number two, even if we optimize your delivery of water in furrow events using things like faucet and surge, if you don't schedule them appropriately, you're still throwing money out the window. Can you see that from this kind of slide? So again, this is like a Dundee Dubs type complex. The producer's going to compare us to about 3 fields. He skip row irrigates it. We're going to send it down every furrow. We should have set surge valves up on this. We will next year in these kind of situations, but we were really just kind of learning what to do with the surge valves last year. So the only thing I've done differently is send it down every furrow, which is going to make him have a few more irrigation sets than what he likes to do, because remember, he's skip row irrigating and stretching that water out a lot further. And we got it set up on faucet, and we got 2 sensors in 6 sets. So the producer puts out 6 shots, cuts 210. We put out 3 shots over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 irrigation sets and cut 215. So here, we look at this holistically, we're about 5 bushels an acre ahead. We've done it with half the water, and we improved his profitability by about $50 an acre. Just some background on this one. Again, you know, a lot of times they were giving us problem sets, right? And so this is a problem set for him. Basically, we got 440 sitting here. This is a straight cracking clay, right? I mean, it's cracking deep and wide. The upper right-hand corner, he says that on a normal irrigation swing for him, when he gets to this set that he may irrigate for 4 to 5 days, he still can't get out. I don't know where the water's going, is what he says. I don't know if it's sand lenses in or what, but he can't get across this irrigation set in the top right-hand corner, so he abandons it. The last quarter of the field doesn't get irrigated. Does it sound familiar to any of y'all? Because you're about to fall behind on the other sets. And so he's going to just forfeit that part of the field, make the spin. So he's got that going on, and he said that he went back and looked at his yield data in that top right quadrant compared to the other quadrants that usually it's 5, 6, 7 bushels an acre behind. Makes sense because he's not irrigating the last quarter of the field, right? All right, so historically he's not using faucet, and he's scheduling like you are probably every 7, 10 days, something like that. On this soil type, probably every 10 days. So we get 2 of these fields, that problem field in the upper right-hand quadrant and the one in the lower left-hand quadrant. We set both fields up with surge valves and set them both up with faucet, and we have soil moisture sensors 6, 12, and 24 and 36 inches in both those fields. All right, so this is his set. So he puts 5 irrigations on, about 13 inches, cuts 87 bushels. This is his other field. He puts 5 shots across it, 15 inches, 85 bushels. This is ours, the problem set. We could get across it. We put 3 shots on it, 9 inches, cut 86 bushels. And this was our other set, 3 irrigations, 7.2 inches, 84 bushels. So here, in this year alone, we're pretty much within a bushel of him. Profitability somewhere about equal, and we've done it with 40% less water than what he did compared to his sets. Again, we were playing a lot this season. What is the optimal way to set up surge valves? The first time we put the surge valve up in that upper right-hand quadrant, that problem field, we blew it up that night, so we had to come back, re-irrigate the field, get it all even back up. If you were to take that water out, that additional water I had to put across it, you're probably looking like we did in everything else. Did about half the water, maintained his yield in corn. That was this year alone. If you think about what he had said historically, usually 5, 6, 7 bushels behind this problem set, we actually made him 5 or 6, 7 bushels problem. So if you look at what we did in those major soil types up and down the delta, if you just do a simple mathematical t-test to it, that pretty much corn, we're maintaining their yield, soybean, we're maintaining their yield, but look at this, highly statistically different. We're doing it with almost half the water. And the way I like to tell guys is that when I look at this slide, I interpret it like this. So this p-value says we're 99.9% confident that these water use values are really different. And we'll go a step further, and I feel like we're about 90-something% confident we can walk on about any of your farms and cut your water use back drastically, maintain your yield, and improve your profitability using those 3 tools we talked about. Setting your field up on faucet, in the right situation using surge valves, and using the scientific irrigation scheduling tool like soil moisture sensors to help us schedule those irrigations.